Welcome back to Exercise Physiology on Catalyst University. My name is Kevin Tokoph. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. In this video, we're going to be discussing the concept of supramaximal exercise. Now, first of all, supramaximal exercise is defined as exercise that's done at a VO2 max greater than 100%, or greater than 100% VO2 max. And that may not seem like it's possible, but it actually is, and it's an extraordinarily high intensity. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over this in quite a bit of detail. We're going to look at this also from a molecular or biochemical approach, and also a macroscopic approach so we can really understand what's going on. So first, let's define VO2 and VO2 max. VO2 is just simply the rate of oxygen consumption. Okay, and we can have low VO2s, we can have high VO2s, and we can quantify that, but it's simply the rate of consumption of oxygen by exercising skeletal muscle. And really the whole body is what we're going to consider, but mostly skeletal muscle is what's contributing to it. And then VO2 max is just the maximum rate of oxygen consumption. Okay, so how is oxygen consumed in cells, really in muscles, but throughout the whole body? So all of our cells that we're really concerned with here have mitochondria. And recall that in the cytoplasm, glucose will be converted to pyruvate through glycolysis. The pyruvate will then move into the mitochondria, where this enzyme, pyruvate dehydrogenase, will convert it to acetyl-CoA, in which case it'll go through the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle, whatever you want to call it. And in the process, it generates reduced coenzymes such as NADH and FADH2. And then these reduced coenzymes deliver those electrons that they picked up from the Krebs cycle and deliver them to the electron transport chain. And the ultimate function of oxygen here is to serve as the terminal electron acceptor. So the electron transport chain is going to essentially power the synthesis of ATP through a mechanism we won't talk about here. But the electrons have to go somewhere at the end, and they just go onto oxygen, reducing oxygen to water. Okay? And you ultimately have to have this oxygen in order for there to be a place for those electrons to go. Otherwise, you'd cause a backup of the whole electron transport chain. And the key here is that the harder you work the muscle, the more ATP it has to generate. So what we can say is sort of a blanket statement. The higher the exercise intensity, the more ATP that muscle is going to have to produce. Which makes sense. If you're requiring more energy because you're working harder, you need to make more energy, so make more ATP. And so what that translates to is that cell is going to need more oxygen. And there's going to be more oxygen consumed by the electron transport chain. So our final really statement there is if you increase exercise intensity, you increase the rate of oxygen consumption, or you increase the VO2. Okay? And there's going to come a point at which you hit the VO2 max, meaning you hit the maximum rate that these cells, or really the mitochondria here, can consume the oxygen. And that's defined as VO2 max, or really 100% of VO2 max. And we're assuming that we're undergoing steady state exercise, and steady state implies that the exercise is done where the ATP production, the rate of it, balances the rate of ATP consumption. Okay? But as you increase the exercise intensity more and more, up to 100% of VO2 max, you're going to need more and more oxygen, but during that time, up until 100% VO2 max, all of the energy can be supplied aerobically, assuming you're at steady state, okay, where the energy demand is balanced by the energy production, okay? So all of this at steady state up through 100% VO2 max can be supplied aerobically, and this whole system is aerobic, right? Because this oxygen is what defines aerobic metabolism. Anaerobic metabolism does not necessarily require oxygen. But the key is up through 100% of VO2 max, the energy can be supplied aerobically. And so it's going to be dependent on oxygen. Now, what happens if you start exercising at a rate higher than VO2 max? Well, what is VO2 max? It's the maximum rate that you can consume this oxygen. So you can't consume it any faster than that. So how can you exercise beyond VO2 max? Well, logically, there would have to be another system that's providing energy on top of the aerobic system, which you've already maxed out, right? And so that system is an anaerobic system. And this is probably the most important anaerobic system right here. So if you increase exercise intensity beyond 100% VO2 max, so 110, 120% of VO2 max, you require anaerobic systems to provide energy on top of what you're already producing from a maxed out aerobic system like this one over here. Okay? And the anaerobic system is going to involve lactate production. So in the anaerobic system, we're going to have glucose still being converted to pyruvate through glycolysis. And there's still going to be this pyruvate that's going into the mitochondria for all this, but then there's going to be extra pyruvate that's going to be converted into lactate or lactic acid. This is through the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. And one thing I wanted to mention is that during glycolysis, remember we have NADH formation, okay, from NAD. That's actually what's happening in glycolysis. NAD is being reduced to NADH. Now this NADH, if you were operating completely aerobically, would simply just go into the mitochondria where it would fuel the electron transport chain. But we've already maxed out the rate of the electron transport chain because we can't consume any more oxygen. So if we have all this other NADH buildup, we're going to be running out of NAD, and that's bad. So what we do is we waste the NADH by reducing pyruvate to lactate, and in the process, this enzyme LDH, or lactate dehydrogenase, also regenerates NAD so that glycolysis can keep going. Okay? And also remember, through glycolysis, we're getting 2 net ATP. And so the extra ATP that we need for higher exercise intensities, such as 110% of VO2 max, that extra energy is supplied by ATP from glycolysis on top of this maxed out aerobic system. Okay? The only problem with this anaerobic system is that once you get beyond 100% VO2 max and you're having to rely on anaerobic systems, you're producing lactate, and that's going to very rapidly cause muscle fatigue. And so exercising beyond 100% is not going to be sustainable for very long, very short amount of time. Okay? So to drive this point home, I want to look at this graph. Hopefully make some sense of it. In this first case, we're operating at a VO2 that's much less than VO2 max. So this is about 40% of VO2 max. This honestly might be just going for a jog down the street. Certainly not sprinting, but just a jog, and you could probably keep this up for an hour or so or more if you're a conditioned athlete. But notice that assuming I'm at steady state, all of my energy, my ATP that is, can be supplied by an aerobic system, such as this one on the left here from the previous slide, because I have not yet maxed out my aerobic system. I have not hit my VO2 max, and so I'm still easily able to provide enough oxygen to run the electron transport chain for ATP synthesis. Now in this case, I'm exactly equal to VO2 max. And so if, assuming I'm at steady state exercise, all this energy, again, I'm at 100%, but it can still be supplied by aerobic systems. Again, that's what we talked about here. But once I get to 100% of VO2 max, that's the maximum rate at which I can consume oxygen. And so I can't raise it any further and still rely on aerobic systems. So if I go greater than 100% VO2 max, such as 120 up here, notice now my aerobic capacity doesn't go any higher. And actually, VO2 max is a measure of aerobic capacity. So if I need to exercise at any percent VO2 max higher than 100%, say 120, this extra 20% intensity is going to have to be supplied by anaerobic systems on top of the aerobic systems, because my aerobic system that requires the electron transport chain in the mitochondria is already maxed out. Okay? It can't produce any more ATP at a faster rate because it can't consume oxygen at a faster rate. Okay? And so any extra energy that I require is going to have to come from an anaerobic system on top of the aerobic system. And this graph is really important to show you that it's not like the anaerobic system is replacing the aerobic system. We're still having that aerobic system, right? It's still going on. Okay, it's just maxed out. And so on top of that, we have to add the contribution of ATP from the anaerobic system. That is glycolysis in conjunction with lactate production by lactate dehydrogenase. Okay, so again, hopefully this concept makes sense. It seems pretty simple, but really to explain this concept, you really need to look at basic metabolism, and then hopefully you understand it a little better. All right, so please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you for watching and join us in the next video.